contrarian. So, and Laura knows.
You've been disappointed.
Thank you.
Laura knows because we were working together 5 years ago, and the flat rate, one rate type concept was going to be the big announcement at our dealer meeting right before Laura left, and we bagged it at the end. And the reason was we thought about the end of the contract, and what we realized was that we've just officially told everyone all of the confidential information that we had as the incumbent. So when you're the incumbent, you know the clicks, you know all that analysis, you know that data. And so when you put it under that contract, what we found was, well, now we've already basically told everyone where we were comfortable setting the mark on print. So now they can come in and come under it. And as print declines, there's going to be a greater reluctance. I'm a complete believer in consumption models. The challenge we face, and if you think about it, there's no consumption model out there that has a fixed cost as big as a copier. So when you talk about phones, yes, phones are crazy right now, but it's a $400, $500, $600, okay, Apple $1,000 investment. But the consumption of the usage is basically one-time fixed cost for the carrier. We don't have that. So we have a very large cost of putting the product in, $6,000, $7,000. We have a maintenance component that is fixed, that is very significant. The consumption is not all margin. There is supplies that are attached to it. So it becomes a challenging point to ultimately get to where we all want to do, which would be a consumption model. And so we found that with the declining print, when we are up against a flat rate style program, it's very easy to have one simple question to the customer and say, do you anticipate printing increasing or decreasing in the next 3 years? And as soon as they say decreasing, you now have pushed them down a different path. So I'm a fan of it. I just can't figure out how to do it effectively, because we played with it in our branches. We are seeing the same problem is at the end, everyone knows exactly what you were comfortable with. And so they know the print volumes that used to be very secretive. And that is a huge challenge. So I think as print declines, something as Jim was saying, before the pandemic, we had a slow decline in print, and we were kind of keeping that to ourselves, and the customer would buy it, and you would be able to do a flat rate, maybe slightly below where they were in the past year. It sounds great, and in year 2 and 3 and maybe 4, that they would be printing significantly less than the rate provided, and that's where you can make some extra margin. But as we saw now, it's declined so quickly that the customer knows that they're not going to be printing the same amount, and so that adds another level of challenge. So I do think it ultimately is a good idea. I just can't figure out how to prevent someone selling against it, because it's been successful for us to sell against it. So I just think that's going to be a challenge.